What up? It's your boy T-Burn Reaction. Today is Music Monday. Kick things off with continuing my thing, my little react to these behind the scenes and making of a lot of dance classics as well too. This one based off a dance anthem, will almost kind of like the Rick roll of dance music. That's none other than Darude's Sandstorm. When you hear that song, as always, you immediately start fist pumping like crazy as the thumbnail said, Sandstorm went viral before viral was a thing. Yeah, I think this is like one of the earlier songs that was part. It was like early rendition of viral music, along with the "Never Gonna Get You Up" as the Rick Roll meme and all that as well too. This was definitely a popular song. So without further ado, we want to see behind the scene of the Roots. Oh, I said the names right. Probably said the name complete wrong. Let me make sure is yeah, Darude, I think it is. Well, he'll pronounce it for me. But anyway, here's Darude, Sandstorm, the maker of a dance anthem. Let's get it.
People would go nuts the first time, and it was so strange and weird. Like, we hadn't seen those kind of reactions. Hi, this is Darude, and this is the story of Sandstorm.
I'm bad. Let's keep going.
I've been interested in music since I was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, as long as I can remember. My first ever CD that I bought myself was the KLF White Room. I didn't know until I was like 18, 19 years old that I could actually make my own music. Bought a computer for my school, used it maybe 1% for the school, and spent many a sleepless night learning about those layers and different instruments. There was a track by a Swedish singer called Leila K called Rude Boys. I happened to be a little tipsy at a pre-party at my friend's house one time, and I wasn't a DJ, but they had a turntable, and I would just, I don't know, repeatedly 7 times in a row play Rude Boys. My buddies started getting potentially a little annoyed by that, and then they started calling me a rude boy. So I adopted Rude Boy as my nickname for that kind of stuff. And then around the same time when I started making music, uploading my stuff to mp3.com, so I used Rude Boy there as well. Kind of later on I realized Rude Boy was referring to a different kind of music, so it became The Rude and then Darude separately. When my first single Sandstorm was about to come out and the cover art was being made, the designer Sampo Hänninen, he just put those 2 words together on the same font, and my artist name was born. I actually got started with Sandstorm 1.5 years or so before the release. I would find how other people on commercial tracks had their kicks and hi-hats come in and bass and whatever, and I would make these charts, clock other people's instrumentation and arrangement and whatnot. And this one track had a middle part that had a 16th note repeating pattern of something. While I was studying the track, I made my own pattern with a similar sound that that track had. That sound and that pattern ended up being the Sandstorm doo-doo-doo. Summer 99, I reopened that project. I exported that thing out as a wave out of the Tracker program.
Hold on a second. I want to make sure I'm on the right mic, because I'm not getting feedback from the mic I'm touching. Give me a quick second. I'm back. I had to make sure, but anyway, hopefully you still hear me good.
And then I put it into a Cubase VST that I just had gotten, and it had a distortion plugin. Putting it through that, tweaking a little, and then it became the Sandstorm doo-doo-doo sound, and all of a sudden I burned it on CDs and took it to my local DJs. I also gave one of those CDs to who became my producer then, JS16, i.e. Jaakko Salovaara, and we met the next week at the same club, a club called Berlin in Turku, Finland, and he asked if I wanted to be his first artist on his new label, and I didn't even know that he had a label. I was just looking for some feedback basically on the track. A week after that, I'd already taken my samples, went to his studio, and we basically reworked Sandstorm. So I had a Pentium 2 PC at the moment, and I had the Cubase VST. So then I go to my idol's studio, And I'm like, this is gonna be amazing. And then I step in and I'm basically like, where's the candid camera? Because this dude had an Atari ST, black and white, 12, maybe 14-inch screen, and then a bunch of hardware, of course, which was impressive to me. But I really didn't understand what he was doing because he wasn't with the latest technology. What changed or what was added was actual hardware, synthesizers, which I didn't have, and particularly Nord Lead or Nord Rack 2, which was very much trance of that moment, and also Roland JP8080, which was the trance synth. When I look back to it now, I realize how little you really need to create good shit when you just pick the right sounds, whether that's on purpose or whether that's by accident. We don't really talk about the naming that much. When you turn on the Roland synth, JP8080, first sound that comes up is called Sandstorm. That was it. And it is actually the patch that is those chords.
Welcome.
Thank you. I can't hear anything.
They are loving you, and we are glad that you are here. Darude, and the CD is Before the Storm. Congratulations. Hey!
We didn't think it was a hit record. We didn't know. We had no clue of the phenomena it would become or the hit record. But I know we were feeling good. I mean, we were a couple of guys, just barely 20, and we would be jumping up and down in the studio excited. Before we got like the actual vinyls from the first test pressing, we'd burn CDs, and we went to this local club. People would go nuts the first time, and it was so strange and weird. Like, we hadn't seen those kind of reactions. One particular thing that I really remember at Berlin was where the breakdown starts and it's really quiet. You would hear the lights moving, and then you would hear people's sneakers. And that was really strange to me. And then everybody kind of stops and hears themselves moving, and then the track starts taking over, and it was overwhelming how big that reaction was. I wasn't really even dreaming of like becoming a DJ and a producer or anything like that. I was just making music. I had to learn really quickly. 16 Inch put it out on promo. It stayed 16 or 17 weeks #1 in Finnish dance chart. So end of 99 and early 2000. Shortly thereafter, it was licensed to Neo in UK and worldwide basically. But then it was a really long spring of 2000. The Neo thing was pretty big and promising, but nothing happened for several months that I saw, because I wasn't in UK. Had their plan and they had their contacts like Judge Jules, who was playing it, and Pete Tong also on Radio 1. Since I didn't know anything of how that stuff works, it was rather painful at times. Even I'd probably be like, yeah, whatever, that was that, and back to school or whatever it was. The music video was of the time. There was a lot of running. There was certain kind of clothing, shades, obviously, headphones around the neck and whatnot. What was really cool for me was that it was representing Finland. What was funny to people in Helsinki is that you could never run the sequence. There's like half an hour apart, some locations of each other and whatnot, but it looks like a seamless thing. And there's actually some unofficial pilgrimage that has happened. People have figured out where those locations are, and they've walked through and taken pictures here and there, and some of them don't actually exist exactly like they were back then. Those glasses are not for sale anymore. I do have the original pair though. Top of the Pops is amazing, and it's amazingly conflicting, especially as an electronic artist, because you can't do anything live. I didn't really care the first one or two times I was there with Sandstorm and Feel the Beat, and it was purely amazing, obviously, to be part of such an iconic program concept. But with my third one, the director wanted the camera guy to kind of come over my shoulder and look at my hands when I'm playing, but they wouldn't provide power for any of my equipment. Like, you're not going to shoot over my shoulder on purpose, showing my dead machines that I'm supposed to be playing. I actually was just sitting down, my feet up on the synth, while my singer Tammy and the dancers were doing their bit. A track taking on its own life like Sandstorm has, it's a conflicting thing. Like, I own the track, I created that melody, and then when it almost becomes public domain, while not legally, but still, I've had hard times with that, sort of protecting it. It's a beautiful thing when it generates something like that so many people want to do something with. But then it's also like, I can't control, and sometimes like there's been videos, it has been associated with terrorist groups or something like that. And if I can't control any of that, that's not a good thing. And obviously very benign stuff is when somebody makes a bad remix and it just sounds bad. I'm really okay with almost everything that brings Sandstorm back up again, because it will bring people back to me or back to whatever I do today.
Now, the reason why you are who you are is because of your platinum selling hit, the hit that everybody loves, the world's crazy over, Sandstorm.
I was really into music. I really got into the production stuff and I loved it. It took over, but I still didn't think that it would ever be my profession. One of the coolest sort of compliments has been that Sandstorm was something that went viral before viral was a thing. But I know that it was sort of grassroots initially. First sort of wave was caused by club DJs and big trance DJs like PVD and of course Jules. And then in a weird way, I've had these, there's been a movie this, and there's much later here like internet meme kind of stuff that has lifted the track and my name up as well. It's given me like second and third and 16th wind here and there. And somebody coming to my gig today, I kind of don't care what the reason is, because then I get to show what I do today.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Right before it went viral, man. It was like the 80, it was like the Rick Rolls of dance music. But other than that, this was a good, cool story behind this song as well too. As always, if you like more reaction to this, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T. Signing off.